Hello everyone, welcome to a new reading. So I was reading the comments and someone was mentioning that I haven't done a friendship reading between Irene, Wendy, Irene and Joy, and because of that I was like, you know what, let me check and see which ones I haven't done. And I noticed that I still haven't done quite a lot of pairings, so for this month I think it would be nice to do a couple friendship readings, a couple love ones, and this is one of the friendship readings. So let's see if I remember the format of this since I haven't done this one in a very long time. So we'll start off with a card to represent the connection between Wendy and Irene. And we have the full moon in Libra with find a balance. Now, this card is one that I have meditated with before, and I remember thinking of like the sea, sand, and a nice breeze or like wind that is very refreshing. So I wonder if that has anything to do with their connection. But now let's take out one card to represent each one of them. So one card to represent Irene in this dynamic. We have the Magician reverse. And then one card to represent Wendy in this dynamic. Oh, we have a shit tons of cards. I'll take the two that are facing up and put the other ones back. So we have the Two of Pentacles reverse and the Knight of Cups. So with the Magician, we have Mercury energy, and with the Knight of Cups, we have Pisces energy, which, I mean, very fitting because Wendy is a Pisces. So with the full moon in Libra, find balance, it shows that the best way to represent the connection between Irene and Wendy is to balance each other out. So wherever one is lacking, the other one is there, and vice versa. And the full moon in Libra, so with the full moon, we're talking about peak energy, or the idea of like all of this energy that has accumulated to a certain point is something that's building up. And with Libra, we have balance, partnership. We do have also like communication and harmony with all of this air energy that Libra carries. This makes me think that the type of connection that they have is one that is very harmonious, very balanced. Everyone kind of gets along. Everyone tends to try to keep the peace and making sure that everyone understands each other. With the path that we see in this card, it makes me think that they have the type of relationship where they like to think, what can we do to make a brighter future? What can we do to make the path ahead comfortable? What can we do to stay balanced, secure? What is like, it feels like it's like always planning and always thinking ahead and how to make the path ahead as easy and as comfortable as possible. There is a sense of like they like to get together to think and plan ahead and to make sure that they have everything that they need for the future or everything that they need for their schedules and their plans. It seems like they have a dynamic where they want to keep things fair, get along and be understanding with each other, respect each other's points of view, may it be different, may it be the same, and have discussions of anything that helps them open up their mind and their perspective, because Libra is very good at putting themselves in other people's shoes. The energy itself, I can't speak for all Libras, but it's the whole idea of like, maybe it could boil down to overthinking as much as it could just be the whole idea of wanting to be fair, and because of that you kind of put yourself in the shoes of somebody else. Anyway, the card that represents Irene in this relationship is the Magician reverse. So this tells me that Irene is someone that is either very ambitious and is someone that likes to make those ambitions happen very quickly. And with it being reversed, it makes me think that sometimes she goes so quick that she doesn't even realize that she's already there. And other times she feels like, oh, these manifestations are going so slow, but that's because a lot of other things just come very easily to her. Not necessarily that everything's handed to her, as much as I'm saying that when she's very good at just manifesting things, so when something takes a while, she's wondering like what's going on, what's happening. So the Magician reverse shows me that in this relationship, Irene is the type of person that likes to kind of like hang out and come into this energy whenever she feels like her manifestations are stagnant, or whenever she lacks the motivation to do something that she has always wanted to do or to work towards her goals. Now, one of the reasons why she's very good at manifesting and making things a reality is because she's a very hardworking person. So she does what she has to do to make her dreams a reality. That's kind of what I'm getting at. So the Magician just shows that yes, she's allowing for opportunities to come through, but she also knows when to take opportunities. She knows when to take action. She knows when to look for opportunities as well. And that could also be because she's working with her intuition or working with spirit, in the sense of like, okay, now I need to look for opportunity. And then spirit is like letting her know, like, oh, what about this one? What about that one? And kind of like she allows herself to go by her gut instinct. And the reason why the mission is reversed is like whenever Irene is not in that energy, that's kind of when she goes to Wendy potentially. Now, with Wendy, we have the Two of Pentacles reversed, the Knight of Cups. This shows with the Knight of Cups that Wendy is very passionate, very kind, caring, very charming. And I see the Knight of Cups personally as someone that brings an offer. One where like they carry their heart on their sleeve. The whole idea of like it's very genuine, it comes from the heart, it's filled with love and care. And this offer could be an offer of love as much as it with a Knight of Cups, but it could also just be an offer in general of like a job, an offer of like I am doing this because I want to do this, and not like with the alternative motive of like business or whatever. So this Knight of Cups just shows that in this relationship, Wendy is a type of person that brings the emotions, brings the sentiment, and always has something nice to say or something good to offer. And the Two of Pentacles reverse shows that Wendy is also the type of person that just never has time to do whatever she wants to do. She's also out of balance, but even when she's not doing okay, she brings in this energy filled with love and care and understanding. And it feels like in this relationship they work because whatever issues they have personally is issues that when they come together, they like to talk about them to become better or to find solutions or to figure out ways to not be in that energy again. So it definitely feels like in their connection they don't have to be okay at 100%, and that could be one of the reasons why their dynamic is one about balance, harmony. It's like that's what they're looking for when they're together. It's like whenever they're having a rough time on their own, when they come together, they like to talk about it and discuss it to try to figure out how to get out of that energy. That seems to be like the main thing here. So now let's go on to the next question, which is how do they see each other? So how does Irene see Wendy? We have the Nine of Spring. She sees Wendy as someone that doesn't give up. So here we have protect the fruits of your labor, prepare for possible challenges that lie ahead, and environmental conservation. The Nine of Spring, or which is the equivalent to the Nine of Wands, shows that Irene sees Wendy as someone that doesn't give up, someone that's cautious, someone that's careful, but someone that's always moving forward, someone that prepares to take care of the stuff that she cares about and that she loves, and still pushes forward. So how does Wendy see Irene? We have the Three of Swords reversed. So Wendy sees Irene as someone that doesn't allow her heartache and her pain to hold her back. The Three of Swords reverse talks about healing. It talks about overcoming heartache. It could also talk about someone that is avoiding it and like neglecting that they're not okay. But with Wendy, she sees Irene as someone that works very hard to not allow her pain to hold her back, to not allow her fears and her shortcomings to get in the way of moving forward and just continuing with life. So they both see each other in a very similar light of like not giving up, being persistent, continuing forward, and overcoming challenges. The difference is that Wendy sees Irene from a point of view of like, oh, Irene is healing, and Irene sees Wendy from the point of view of, oh, Wendy's very cautious, very careful. And even though they're going through like they see each other very similarly, they see each other's differences as a point of strength. And that kind of brings us back to this Libra energy where like their differences is what allows them to see this new point of view and like a new way of solving an issue or a new way of going through with a problem in such a way that they can continue growing and expanding not only their mind but also their life. And that kind of shows that they have enough in common to talk about and get along, but they're also different enough that they can like grow from each other and be like, oh, so that's how you solve an issue, well, this is how I solve it. And then they kind of like just learn from each other in that sense. Okay, so the next question is like, how do they like to spend their time together? So how do Wendy and Irene spend their time together? So we have last quarter moon in Gemini with clearer mind, which is very fitting because we already got with a Libra energy earlier that they like to potentially talk about things and talk through them. And this Gemini energy, it's also an air sign as Libra, so that shows communication is important, staying balanced is important, being logical about their approach to life is very important as well, and also keeping things very lighthearted and fun. So the clear your mind just shows that the way that they like to spend together is doing things that relax them. They either talk through things, or maybe they have like a spa day, or maybe they hang out in a way where they can just relax their body, relax their mind, relax their emotions. It's like do whatever it is that they have to do in order to bring themselves back to a normal state and bringing some balance and organize a bit of their energy in a way that brings them a bit of peace in their environment, in themselves, in their mind. With the last quarter moon in Gemini, it makes me think that they usually like to hang out together when they are like a step away from losing their balance, or when they are. So it's like one of two things. They like to hang out when they're going through a very difficult time and they're like one step away from losing their sanity, or they like to hang out together when they are about to get out of a rough time. One of the reasons could be that they don't really want to bring negativity to their connection and to the time that they spent hanging out, but they learn a lot from each other when they're in those times, in those periods. So it's kind of like if they're going through a rough time, they go here because it's comfortable, and where they are getting out of a rough time, they like to come here to kind of reset their energy, or just to hang out without that baggage. If that makes sense. So yeah, with this Gemini energy, it makes me think of people that love to talk a lot, and maybe they like to talk about the latest trends. And I got something about technology and communication, so I don't know, maybe talk about how fast things are moving and how quickly time passes and how quickly changes happen in culture and in their environment and the people that they're with. And maybe talk about the pros and cons about technology or something along those lines. They just like to hang out and talk about topics unrelated to their pain, and then they also like to talk about topics that are closely related to whatever conflict they're encountering at the moment, or that they had encountered in the past. But now let's go on to the next question, which is what do they like about each other? So what does Irene like about Wendy? Sure. It's only 2 cards, so I can take that. We have Ego Reverse and the Sits of Autumn. What does Wendy like about Irene? Oh, seems like the number 4 is important for Wendy. So we have the Sits of Pentacles, which, I mean, they match. The Queen of Pentacles, the 10 of Cups reverse, and the 2 of Swords reverse. What I really likes about Wendy with this ego card reverse is that Wendy is not someone that likes to be tied down by conventions, does not like to be held back by society or by whatever bots she's been put in. So in a way, Wendy's very rebellious, but she's not reckless about the way that she's being rebelling. She is very cautious, so Wendy makes sure that she's not stepping on anybody's toes, but she's also the type of person that likes to speak her mind and say exactly what she thinks and how she feels about things. There's also a sense that when they talk to each other, they have a very honest conversation with each other in such a way that Irene sees Wendy as someone that is very self-aware of her shortcomings, her issues, her fears, her conflicts, and is also very self-aware about the situation that she's in. So Irene really likes how even if Wendy doesn't like the situation that she's in, she's aware of why that's the case and why she's staying in that energy. And Irene really respects that and really likes how honest Wendy is about those situations, about herself, and how she's not afraid to talk about them. And the Sits of Autumn, or the Sits of Coins, talks about balance, harmony. It does talk about being very generous and helping other people out, especially when they're in need. So they both have this, and they both like this about each other. They both see the other as someone that is very generous, very helpful, very abundant, and someone that loves to take care of others or loves to help others when they are going through a rough time. Maybe financial, maybe physical, maybe emotional. It's like they're there for that person. They're there to give them good advice. They're there to listen to them, to be of support, however that person feels supported. So that goes both ways. So Irene likes that about Wendy, and Wendy likes that about Irene. Now, going now to Wendy, we have the Queen of Pentacles, and that the Queen of Pentacles also talks about abundance. It talks about some woman that is successful in their career, in their finances, and they are able to manifest whatever it is that they want in their life. It's someone that's so abundant that it overflows and it helps other people around them, because the Queen of Pentacles is very caring, very loving, and that abundance that they have, they love to share it with the people around them, which is very similar to that Six of Pentacles. Someone that loves to help others, someone that loves to like give help or provide support towards others. But with the Queen of Pentacles, it shows that Wendy sees Irene as like a figure that she can look up to, and an individual that loves themselves, is very confident, very successful in their career, and very successful at just being human. Also, with the Queen of Pentacles, Irene is someone that is very respected, or that a lot of people look up to, and Wendy likes that about Irene, that she has like this authority that allows other people to just kind of look at Irene and like automatically show respect for her. And Irene is a type of person that loves to take care of whoever she has under her wing, if that makes sense. So whoever Irene feels like she is taking care of, or she feels responsible for, Irene goes out of her way to make sure that they know that she finds them special and that she cares for them. Maybe with kind words, or just being there, so like an act of presence, or just giving presents and gifts to show like, hey, I care about you, I thought about you, that kind of vibe. So Wendy really likes that about Irene. Now the Ten of Cups reverse and the Two of Swords reverse. So the Two of Swords reverse is just very simple. I got that Wendy likes how assertive Irene is. So Irene makes a decision, she sticks to it. And Irene is someone that trusts people, but she is not dumb about it. Meaning that whoever Irene hangs out with, or whoever she keeps close to, she knows who to trust and who not to trust. And whoever she trusts them blindly. But she's not giving that power to just anyone, if that makes sense. Now, the Ten of Cups reverse, it feels like what Wendy likes about Irene is that even if Irene is not living her fairy tale, or being a very positive light, or living the best life, Irene still manages. She still manages to help others, be a good support for others, even if she's not doing okay at the moment. So Wendy really likes how Irene is, in a way, a very good leader, because she's able to take care of other people when they need it, even if she is not doing okay. But Irene never reaches the point of doing that in spite of her own healing. So what I mean by that is that what Wendy likes about Irene is that Irene is always helpful, always there, even when she's not at 100%. But she never reaches the point of exhausting her energy and her time, her resources. So again, overflowing abundance. Irene helps others when she can. And she doesn't have to always be okay for that abundance to continue overflowing. That's the best way I can describe that. Now let's go on to the next section, which is what have they learned from each other. So what has Irene learned from Wendy? We have the King of Summer reverse. I don't know how to put it for the glare to not be glaringly obvious. And what has Wendy learned about Irene? We have the Knight of Cups and the Lovers. Those are big cards. So the Knight of Cups was the card that represented Wendy, and this is the card that shows what she has learned from Irene. So that to me just shows that the thing that Wendy has learned from Irene is what has made her who she is today. The Knight of Cups, again, someone that loves to be of service to others, in the sense of like, how can I help you? How, like, if you need support or something, here I am, or something like that. But yeah, the Knight of Cups just shows that what Wendy has learned from Irene is how to be kind to others, how to say a nice word towards others, how to be compassionate, caring, and charming, how to offer genuine support, one that comes from the heart. It's like very nurturing, even I will even say motherly energy, but that's because I see Irene like that. Not necessarily because that's what the Knight of Cups represents. But also the Knight of Cups talks about moving forward, so it makes me think that Wendy has learned how to move forward from an emotional state because of Irene. What I mean by emotional state is like how to guide herself by her heart, how to be happy, lighthearted, how to take things slow, how to not overwhelm herself and burden herself with whatever stress or whatever conflict could be out there. So the Knight of Cups just makes me think of someone that is moving forward at their own pace and allowing their instincts and their emotions to guide them in a way that is healthy rather than suppress those natural instincts that we have within us as humans. And the Lovers shows that this is Gemini energy, by the way, and this shows, by the way, both of Pisces with the Knight of Cups and then Gemini with the Lovers, they're both mutable signs. So this shows that another thing Wendy has learned from Irene is how to follow her passions, follow what she loves, follow what she likes, how to be rebellious in the sense of like how to stand up for herself and how to think for herself and speak up. And the Lovers also represent someone that is breaking away from conventions. So remember how we talked earlier that Irene liked how Wendy doesn't like to be put in a box? Well, Wendy learned from Irene how to break free from a box or break free from labels and limitations put by society or the work or like by people around them, and how to get out of that in a very loving way. So instead of not rebellious in a way that's destructive for the person and the environment, but more of like, okay, how to say things in a manner that shows I disagree with you and I put myself forward. I prioritize my opinion. I prioritize myself. So basically, the best way I can describe this is that Wendy learned how to mature because of Irene. And by mature in this case, I just mean like how to do exactly what she wants to do, but do it in a way that is a bit more acceptable and a bit more mild instead of being okay, just to be less confrontational, let me just put it that way. And it still gets the same message across, but it's less aggressive and it's just as effective. That's like the vibe that I'm getting here. Now, the thing that Irene has learned from Wendy with this King of Cups reverse is how to connect to her emotions, even if she doesn't really know what to do with them. So Irene is someone that likes to stay composed. She likes to keep it together. So what she has learned from Wendy is to accept the emotions that run wild, to be a bit more raw, to be a bit more genuine and spontaneous. So I'm not saying that Irene didn't have that, but that's something that she lacked when she came to emotions. I think Irene was very closed off or very guarded, and with Wendy, she learned how to be a bit more open, at least to herself about that. Because the King of Summer or the King of Cups reverse just makes me think of Irene going wild in a very private way. So Irene doesn't go unhinged in a way that it affects her career or affects her work environment, but she does allow herself to be vulnerable and weak and emotional and all over the place, to be a mess within herself. And that has definitely helped Irene to work through her emotions because she's allowing them to just flow through her and allowing them to just be, instead of like hiding them or pushing them to the side to continue pushing forward. So in a way, Irene just learned from Wendy how to connect to her emotions once again and allowing the emotions to be felt without filtering them like, oh, I shouldn't feel sad, I shouldn't feel held back, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do that. So instead of like limiting her emotions, it's like allowing them to be free in whatever form they come out. Now, to end up this reading, let's go to my favorite part, which is why did they meet? So why did Irene and Wendy meet? So I'm just going to take the cards that are facing up. So we have the new moon in Cancer with relax, and we have a new moon in Taurus with know your worth. So the reason that they met was so like that they can be respect their individualism and embody that energy as well. And what we talked earlier with whether they like how they like to spend their time together is like they like to relax, feel at home, be stable. Here we have Cancer, which is water energy, and Taurus, which is earth energy, and water and earth are connected to feminine energy, meaning that the reason why they met was to nurture the side of them that is intuitive, that is receptive. So they to reconnect to their femininity, to connect to their emotions, to connect to what makes them feel at home and makes them feel safe and secure. So the reason that they met was so like that they could help each other when they were in difficult periods of their life, but also like that they could help each other out, bring the best out of each other, and to find a safe space when they're together. And the new moon in Cancer, so new moons talk about new beginnings, a new chapter in their lives. So the other reason why they met was to help each other start new things in their life. It's like, okay, let's end this cycle together, and let me like give you a little push to continue moving on in whatever endeavor you're working on, or whatever you're doing in your career, or whatever you're doing in accomplishing your goals. So the Cancer energy just makes me think of home, security, safety. So they met to become that for each other. And with the Taurus energy, you know your worth. It just talks about confidence. Basically, this is what I am. This is who I am, and this is how I go about doing things. And that's another reason why they met, to kind of nourish that side of them that help them be confident and stand up for themselves and not back down by challenges, fears, or insecurities. It's like they hype each other up a lot, and they bring a lot of security and safety that allows them to kind of have the balance necessary to continue being themselves and continue doing what they want to do. Anyway, I hope you guys like this reading. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope that the person that mentioned this type of reading liked it as well. This reading was, I want to say the reading was pretty straightforward, because we got a lot of confirmation by repeated messages, or like cards that go like, oh yeah, this means the same thing. And I find it very nice that we got the Six of Autumn and the Six of Pentacles, which is the same card, literally in the same section. That kind of shows that they see the other in the that they mirror each other. So they are able to acknowledge something, they recognize something that the other one has that they themselves have as well. And I think that's very nice. That kind of shows that they are either very similar, or because they hang out with each other a lot, they have become very similar with that Six of Coins, or Six of Pentacles, or Six of Autumn, however you want to call it. So I'll see you guys on the next one, whenever that is, however that is. Thank you for all the love and support you have shown me and the channel, and love and healing from my part to you, and bye.